Okay, so the rationale, the very first video, has this concept sign, food related or food related. It's food join, topic relation, so you're attaching the two concepts, right? So food related. And you'll see variations of that sign. So that's the rationale video. There's also, we see this sign again to expand. So if this is your current vocabulary, we're going to expand it and add more, right? So you'll see this sign more often. And then the last one I want to point out in the rationale is the sign for deep, depth and deep. And the idea that we're going to go deeper into the topic and give you some more vocab. So those are the ones to look at in the rationale. You may not have seen those before, so I wanted to talk about those. So now the first snapshot, you'll see him sign this. So it's just the index finger, your dominant, your active finger on top of the other, and you just sort of, it's like a diving board kind of thing. Just depends. We use this for depend. Ooh, depends. So depends. There are different hand shapes that get used. They're what we would call a classifier, where a specific hand shape will refer to a specific type of drink. This is the generic drink and can apply to anything. If we want to be more specific, we can talk about a shot, or that's the best way, shot, liquor, whatever. If you're talking about scotch or something like that you're sipping, right? So it's a small cup, boom, boom, boom. If you're talking about any of the other liquors, it opens up a little bit more. A tumbler, scotch on the rocks, whatever you're drinking, mixed drinks would be like that. The G-rated drinks, milk, water, pop, stuff like that. And they talk about this for beer. We've seen most of it to go out drinking heavily, go out partying, something like that. This is actually supposed to be the bottle. Remember, we use it for like pouring on sauce or whatever. So you'll see people do this for drinking a bottle of beer. Regionally, it depends on, what you'll see around you and what's popular. It also depends on the age of the people who are in the community. So again, this is the generic sign for any beverage. If you want to be specific, you will start to incorporate these other hand shapes. And that's oftentimes because the glasses that you use for things are pretty, they will change how you'd sign. So for example, if you were talking about shots, they're a little shot glass, right? As opposed to a cup, like drinking coffee. Right? So shot. Right? Okay. Well, also, the next one, snapshot 2, we've talked about using facial expressions to show something that's small, something that's medium, and something that's large, right? And how the facial expression can change, even if the sign isn't different. Right? So medium, small cup, medium cup, large cup of coffee, right? So the sign hasn't changed. My facial expression has changed the meaning, has altered that. So we can do the same thing with different drinks. And there's some examples of that for like a steak, meat, right? Meat, steak. Could be a huge steak, could be a small steak, could be a thin steak, could be a thick steak. So how your facial expression goes between those three will show right, big thick steak. And then there's a joke in the third one. Actually, before we go on, the second one, you'll see this, or fingerspell size. This is the sign for measure, can also be used for size. So what size is that? What size is that? I need to measure. It's also the sign for engineering. An engineer, a measurer, right? The guy in the video signs how. It's pretty rare that I see that, and I'm not actually even sure if that's a regional thing. So just be aware, this movement can be like this, can be like this, and that guy does it with two Y's. It could be just him, but I have seen a couple of people do it, so it's not pretty common. Okay, so then the third one, there's a joke, a really hilarious joke about how decaf coffee, and some people assign deaf coffee. So, drop the C, DEAF, right? So it's a dad joke. It's the best way I can explain it. It's not a particularly funny dad joke as it stands. So, dairy, milk related, right? And I will do a video of all the vocab. It may be delayed posting it up on here, but I'll have one. Chocolate milk, best ever, right? We're going to go through all these. Butter, I'm just going to hit on a couple of them. Margarine, sometimes you'll see fake butter. I know technically that's not what it is, but cheese, and it's like movie, but it's down cheese. And you'll fingerspell some things. Boxed packaged goods, or can or jar. Cereal. And again, I'll go through the vocabs if there's variations. This is the local Ohio sign for cereal. Here's the bowl. Here's the bowl. Here's the spoon. Cereal. As opposed to soup, which uses these two fingers. Soup. Cookies and cupcakes. Those tend to be different. Cookies does this. Cupcakes does this. Crackers. Bum, bum, bum. Pasta in general. So can food, can. Fruit, vegetables, veg, soup. In the one video, he fingerspells soup. Corn. S-O-U-P, soup. Jams and jellies, most of the time you'll just see it. It's like spreading, but with a J. Jams and jellies. Peanut butter. So use a sign for butter, and then nut butter. Peanut butter. Condiments. Now, sometimes you see condiments, like if you've got a hot dog or hamburger, or condiments, or this, right? Again, what's the sign? Ketchup or catsup. See that in Pittsburgh, so we do see it here in Cleveland sometimes. Mustard and mayo. I'm going to wait until doing the video because sometimes those signs are confusing. Olives. Pickles. I want to point out pickles. You want to see sort of bitter face versus candy. Candy, happy face. Pickles. Right? And lemon or lemon. And a lot of these are fingerspelled. Vinegar. You'll see it up here or here, and you want that bitter face again, vinegar. Or fingerspell. And again, I'll go over all the video. Oil, O-I-L, fingerspell. Salt, pepper, or pepper. I tend to see this most often, pepper, like you've got the pepper shaker. This is more like French fry, but I've seen pepper. It's just most of the time I see people do this for pepper. Fingerspell, herbs, spices. Honey. I've been told is because you get it on you. If you eat it, you get it on your lip. I've never gotten honey in my mustache. So. Baking. So here's the oven, and you're putting the baking tray in there. flour, sugar. We'll go through all this video. Eggs, tofu, baked goods again, bread. So here's the loaf, and you're slicing. Um, hamburger, and again, we'll go over all these. English muffins. Tortilla was one that I saw it in the worksheet, and I had never seen a sign for it. I've always seen it fingerspelled. And what they did is they did this, and at first I was like, hamburger plates? But if you've ever made tortilla, you know how you take, it's almost like small pizza dough, where you flip it back and forth to spread it out. Boom, 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 boom. So that's what, same as if you're making fry bread or something. So, bum, 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 bum. So tortilla. So it's, you flipped it back and forth and it's flat. So that's why it's tortilla. Beverages. And bottled. Usually you'll see this, or bottle. Right. This can be can or bottle. And sometimes you'll see if they're separating it, bottle. Again, pop. We'll go through all that. Energy drink, powder drink, protein shake, juices, juice or juice. Then each of the different fruits. Again, I'll just go through on the video that I make of the vocab. Coffee, tea, and sometimes people do tea up and down. That tends to be a little bit more confusing with vote. Context usually helps, but if you do coffee, tea, that'll be very clear. Decaf coffee, just spell decaf, right? If you're awake enough to. I need caffeine. Hot chocolate, so hot. You take your hand in like a claw, face it over your mouth like a mask, and then turn it out. Hot chocolate. Tea. We did iced before, iced finger spell. And now we're liquor, right? And this is the generic sign, remember, for alcohol. Beer, alcohol, liquor, whiskey. We use this as the sign for scotches, whiskeys, and stuff like that. Tag on if you need a finger spell. Wine, sweets, cake or cake, cheesecake, pie. You'll see it sometimes with a P. Do it with the flat of the hand. Pie. Dessert, you'll oftentimes see two D's like dessert. We'll go through those. Milkshake, ice cream, bowl of ice cream, or candy, chocolate. And if you do cookie, chocolate, like here's the chocolate chip cookie and you're putting the chocolate chips in it. Discussion, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I will add, change that, and we'll get rid of that. Okay. So now, I'm about to go and do the whole thing of the vocab. But you'll notice that, like with all the milk ones, all the cheese, the cakes, the cookies, we're now building these compound signs. So chocolate chip cookie is cookie, chocolate, and then the chips, right? So we're going to be building these pictures. So don't think about it as one sign. Think about it as, what do you see, and in what order are you going to build this cookie and put the chocolate chips in. I will put asterisks next to the ones that have the option to fingerspell, but almost everything can be fingerspelled anyway. Some of them, it's the only choice we've got. Great. So then I will do the assignment advice. I've got some things for the conversation starter, some things for conversation starter 2, worksheet 1. And for worksheet 1 and worksheet 2, what I did was I gave you the general heading of the things that they will choose the answers from. So I want you to look over these before you do the worksheet. So review this set of vocab before you do it, and then it will make it really easy. Same thing with worksheet 2. There's a bunch of different types. Take a look at those, figure out how you would sign each of those, and then do the worksheet, and it will be a piece of cake. Cake, right? And that's it. So I'm about to do the next 2 videos. They will be posted up.